Hello.
Hi there.
How you doing?
So we are celebrating our 35th anniversary of Soundings of the Planet. We began in 1979, and our very first album was called Desert Dawn Song, and this year we are re-releasing it, remastering it, and it is coming out the 35th anniversary of Desert Dawn Song.
Desert Dawn Song was our first expression of love for the planet on a musical level. I got to go out in a canyon and sleep overnight and then wake up before the sun came up and put out the microphones, the stereo mics, and record the birds as the sun was coming up, as the birds were singing the sun into existence for the day.
And then Dean brought that recording back to studio, and we played our music, listening to the birds, just feeling the energy of sunrise in the desert, which is such a magical time. And I had an open-tuned harp and playing that along with just singing. It was kind of toning. It was just a new kind of sound I was making. I'd been singing in the garden, and it was just this little melody. So that became the very first sound you hear, and then Dean comes in with his beautiful flute. And then we also recorded with our friend Jonathan Kramer.
Yes.
Who's a fabulous classical cellist.
A good friend of ours who is studying for his graduate degree on cello. And he and I happened to be able to communicate to each other like the birds in the desert. And we just enjoyed playing with each other. And then, of course, working with Dudley on the music that expressed what we were feeling about the earth, our love of the earth itself. Love coming from a greater understanding of living on the earth that we got from our meeting native elders over the years and getting the message from them that the earth was not just a place to get items for consumption, but was actually, we were a part of a living system, an alive system that was giving us all the resources we needed for life, much greater than for all the stuff we could get out of her. So we wanted to help people understand that, since we had learned it, such a special message. And that's why we wanted to put natural sounds on our albums and play music that was based on love and peace.
Well, we've been very inspired by the wisdom that was coming through, and we'd also been influenced by the peace movement and the spirituality that was coming forth in the 70s. In the 60s, when Dean and I met in 1968, we were very aware of what we were against. We were against discrimination and prejudice, we were against war, but we really didn't quite understand just yet what we were for. So the 70s for us were an opportunity to really go deep, and we were becoming influenced by Eastern philosophy, meditation, yoga. And so we were reaching into ourselves, deep into ourselves, and so the long, even musically, the long, slow tones of what became Dean's beautiful flute, and just the really slowing down. We were in a very high-pitched modern civilization, but it was important to us to learn to slow down and go within. And so that was part of the inspiration in creating this kind of music, which we'd never heard before. when we first started, people said, well, we don't know where to put it. I thought it might be classical, but then it was created in the moment, so it might have had some improvisational elements, but it really didn't fit with jazz or classical or any other music that we'd ever heard. And we were fairly isolated in Tucson, Arizona, so we hadn't heard of other people who were doing it. But they said, you're going to have to create your own genre. And so we thought, well, okay, we'll do what we can. And we started making little display cases with the great Dean made recycled grape cartons and put little mandalas on them. And
we got color on our printing by doing silk screening. So I would silk screen the covers and the display cases, and that was actually a lot of fun, but it gave us a little bit of color. And then we got these display cases out and placed them in natural food stores and food co-ops. We were also selling at the swap meet in Tucson, and there we were very excited if we would even sell 10 albums in a day. It was very special.
And it was a good place because we were selling in public, we were able to get feedback. And that very first album, when we first put it out, had a song, an actual song with Dean playing guitar and singing. Sing to the sunrise, every morning as I rise, sing to the beauty of you, and so on. And we love the song, but people say, you know, if it didn't have actual words, it would be better, because people were using it for yoga and meditation. And so we listened to the feedback, and it was great to be able to get it immediately. And we were able to change it. And then we just added another instrumental song, so it became a just strictly instrumental album, and continued to get feedback from people who were using it to support their healing process. A woman had chronic pain. She used it for in conjunction with biofeedback to really got her in touch with her chronic pain. And
there was a children's cancer ward in Montreal that told us that they were using our music with their kids. That all very much surprised us, and of course it was very encouraging for us to continue on our music in the way we were going.
And we also went out with several other artists, friends of ours, but the impetus for actually realizing we might want to start making cassettes was that we recorded a lecture by Baba Ram Dass, and many of you know his work, Be Here Now, and the many books he's written since then. So we had permission to record the lecture, and we created a cassette called Evening with Ram Dass, and we got 50 orders, and we went, oh my goodness, people have cassette players at home. And we had just been doing video for all through the 70s, so we didn't really have an outlet for these early half-inch portable black and white video that we were doing. And so we were thinking, maybe we should switch over, because Dean had been a recording engineer and we knew how to do that. So we decided to kind of shift over.
We'd also been playing music like that,
right, for
our videotapes, which was interesting, going back all the way back to '72 and seeing some of the soundtracks we had produced. It had that similar feel to it.
Well, Dean had been playing flute since he was 10 years old, so he was quite classically trained. He was just creating as he played, so it was natural for us to move into music. But the benefit of being able to release this was to realize that music had a power. It had a benefit for people beyond just entertainment. It was truly music for healing, and that's what we have been focusing on for the past 35 years. So as we've continued to create more and more albums, we've got over 80 albums and DVDs now. And we've been having a good time.
Yes, and it's been a real joy to be able to do it. So we thank you for all your support.
And happy birthday, Soundies of the Planet. 35 years, not too old, another bit of time to go. So check out our Desert Dawn song, the new re-released version, the remastered version of Desert Dawn song. And then you'll also be able to go online and search for Sing to the Sunrise by Dean Evenson, and that's going to be available digitally, but we're not putting it on the album. So it'll just be a beautiful instrumental album. And we're grateful for all the support we've had over the years from people who've used our music. Peace through music. It's our motto.
Peace through music.
Peace and love.